The automotive world is buzzing right now, and a lot of that energy is directed at two of the most prestigious names in the business, Bugatti and Ferrari. At the center of it all is Matt Armstrong, an independent builder who has, in a very short span of time, managed to embarrass one hypercar manufacturer publicly and find himself blocked by another. Whether those two things are connected is the question the automotive community can't stop asking. Let's lay out what actually happened, because the sequence of events matters here. A few weeks ago, Matt Armstrong successfully split in two a Bugatti Chiron, in a regular garage, using standard tools. That might not sound remarkable until you understand the context. Bugatti's CEO, Mate Rimac, had publicly stated that this procedure was impossible to perform outside of two specialized facilities in the entire world. Bugatti had used that claim to justify their parts and service gatekeeping, essentially arguing that independent builders simply couldn't handle their technology. Matt's video dismantled that argument in real time. Millions of people watched it. The automotive community celebrated. And Bugatti? They said absolutely nothing. No response, no clarification, no acknowledgement. Just silence. That silence is worth noting, because corporate silence after a public embarrassment isn't neutrality, it's a strategy. Engaging with Matt's video would have amplified it further and forced Bugatti to either double down on a claim that had just been proven false, or publicly walk it back. So they stayed quiet and waited for the news cycle to move on. The problem is, the news cycle didn't move on, because weeks later, Ferrari entered the picture in a way that raised entirely new questions. Matt had been working on a 296 GTB for months, well before the Bugatti controversy. His goal was to convert it using Ferrari's official challenge kit, the same aero components and hardware Ferrari installs on their factory-built challenge race cars. The remarkable thing is that Ferrari's own parts ordering system initially had no issue with this. Matt was able to order the rear bumper, diffuser, rear wing, and side skirts, essentially most of the challenge conversion kit, and everything shipped without a single flag or authorization warning. Then, when he went to order the final critical components, the front bumper, wider front fenders, central radiator, and vented bonnet, Ferrari blocked every single part. No explanation, no workaround offered, just a hard stop. On the surface, Ferrari's position appears to be that the VIN on Matt's car doesn't match the requirements for challenge specification parts. That's a defensible administrative reason. But it raises an obvious question. Why did that VIN concern only appear at the end of the order process, after most of the kit had already shipped? If the VIN was always going to be a problem, the system should have flagged it on the first order. Instead, Ferrari effectively let Matt get most of the way through the build before pulling the plug. That inconsistency is what's fueling the speculation. The timing is genuinely uncomfortable for Ferrari. Matt publicly humiliated Bugatti weeks earlier. Bugatti said nothing. Then Ferrari, a brand that operates in the same rarefied ecosystem, whose executives attend the same industry events and move in the same circles, suddenly becomes very interested in what parts Matt Armstrong is ordering for his 296. You can see why people are drawing a connection. Now, to be clear, there is no confirmed evidence that Bugatti and Ferrari coordinated on this. There are no leaked communications, no documented conversations, no paper trail of any kind. What we have is circumstantial timing and a pattern of behavior that looks similar across two brands. That's not nothing, but it's also not proof. What it might be is independent parallel thinking, two manufacturers arriving at the same conclusion through their own risk assessments rather than any shared strategy. Here's the logic Ferrari may have followed internally. Matt Armstrong just proved Bugatti wrong on a claim they'd used to justify their exclusivity model. That video generated millions of views and made the manufacturer look like they were protecting territory rather than upholding genuine technical standards. Now, that same builder has one of our cars in his workshop, attempting an unauthorized conversion using our own factory parts. Do we let him finish? From a pure corporate risk standpoint, the answer is probably no. Because what Matt was building toward wasn't just a cool project, it was documentation. Every step of his builds is filmed, edited, and uploaded to an audience of millions. If he completes the 296 challenge conversion, he would effectively demonstrate that Ferrari's market segmentation between their road cars and race cars is something an independent builder can replicate with off-the-shelf factory parts. That's not a safety story. That's a brand control story. And Ferrari knows the difference. By blocking the final components, Ferrari ensures the build can't be completed, at least not in the way Matt intended. The damage from the early orders getting through was already done, but they could still prevent the finished product from existing. No finished car means no finished video. No finished video means no viral moment where an independent builder drives around in a one-off 296 challenge road car, proving Ferrari's exclusivity model has gaps in it. The response from the automotive community has been sharp. Comments on Matt's Ferrari video reveal that fans aren't accepting the VIN explanation at face value. Several have suggested Matt source the remaining parts through alternative markets. Chinese manufacturers and fabricators have been mentioned specifically, with some commenters arguing that third-party builders could replicate the blocked components entirely, potentially building something that performs comparably to the factory parts Ferrari refuses to sell. Whether or not that's accurate, the sentiment behind it is clear. If manufacturers are going to use parts access as a control mechanism, people will find ways around it. Others have warned Matt more seriously, suggesting Ferrari is angry enough to consider legal action. It's worth thinking about what that might actually look like. Ferrari could theoretically argue that installing challenge specification components on a road car VIN violates the terms of sale, or that presenting the finished vehicle publicly in challenge livery creates trademark concerns. They might also point to modifications of proprietary systems as grounds for voiding warranties and support agreements. But pursuing aggressive legal action against an independent builder carries its own risks for Ferrari. Taking a high-profile independent creator to court for using parts Ferrari initially sold him would generate exactly the kind of backlash the brand is trying to avoid, turning Matt into a sympathetic figure fighting corporate overreach, and generating far more coverage of Ferrari's gatekeeping than the original build ever would have. Which is why the quiet parts block may be the more calculated move. Limit access privately. Don't escalate publicly. Control the situation without creating a headline. The broader pattern here is what the automotive community is really debating. Luxury hypercar manufacturers have always cited safety and technical complexity as reasons for restricting parts and service access. And in some cases, those reasons are legitimate. These are genuinely complex machines operating at extraordinary performance levels. But increasingly, independent builders like Matt Armstrong are demonstrating that those restrictions often have as much to do with brand protection and revenue control as they do with technical necessity. The Bugatti Chiron split procedure was positioned as impossible for independent mechanics. It wasn't. The Ferrari Challenge kit was supposedly restricted to authorized race cars. Most of it shipped to Matt's door without issue. When the technical barriers turn out to be more permeable than manufacturers claimed, it forces an honest conversation about what the restrictions are actually protecting. What makes this situation particularly interesting is the silence both brands have maintained throughout. Neither Bugatti nor Ferrari has made any public statement addressing Matt's projects directly. That consistent silence from both manufacturers, in the face of millions of views and significant online discussion, is itself a kind of answer. Engaging publicly creates more attention. Staying silent allows the story to eventually fade without official validation. Whether Ferrari acted because Bugatti's embarrassment put Matt's work on their radar, or whether they independently assessed the risk his 296 build posed to their brand, the outcome is identical. An independent builder who was months into a legitimate project, using parts Ferrari's own system initially approved, has been blocked from finishing. And two of the most powerful names in automotive are sitting quietly, saying nothing, waiting for the conversation to move on. The question is whether it will. Because Matt Armstrong's audience isn't moving on, they're paying attention. And the more manufacturers treat parts access as a tool for maintaining control over how their vehicles are perceived, the more that story is going to get told, with or without their cooperation. That's what makes this bigger than a parts dispute. It's a question about who gets to decide what can be done with a car once it's been sold, the person who bought it or the company that built it.